My name is Shelby Willis, and this study will cover political persuasion on social media. The world is so colorful, yet the media has a tendency to make the world around us so gray. We live in an era that allows society to be incredibly dependent on social media. The media warps and hypnotizes billions of minds, specifically young adults and teens, with loads of falsified and fraudulent information on platforms like Facebook and Google. This alliance between these networks and audience create both user loyalty and distrust that sparks movements and conversations far beyond the screen of a cell phone or computer. Social media began with good purpose, but it now acts as a detriment to society. And the number one question is why? The main issue that this research will address is the abundance of fake and biased news in the media and the high-powered control that social media has over its users' lives. Among the scholarly journals that I've gathered and studied, it is proven that fake news fuels the media. People may be incidentally or intentionally exposed to this information, meaning that they may just accidentally come across it, or they may purposely seek out this news via social media. A lot of this information comes from so-called opinion leaders, which is a term that is coined by the two-step flow theory of communication. The new Netflix documentary, The Social Dilemma, highlights this issue of the overwhelming impact that social media has on society. It portrays how social media and advertisements dictate our every move, and it also underlines the role of political persuasion in the media. This documentary also emphasizes that fake news travels 6 times as fast on social media than actual journalism. A reporter in the documentary says, "Fake news is becoming more advanced and threatening societies around the world. We weren't expecting any of this when we created Twitter over 12 years ago." Also, the former executive of Facebook and the former president of Pinterest, Tim Kendall, said, "There were meaningful systemic changes happening around the world because of these platforms that were positive. I think that we were naive of the flip side of that coin." With that being said, this study will address these questions. What is the two-step flow of communication and who are opinion leaders? What role do the media and opinion leaders play in the flow of communication and the spread of fake news? How do 3 theories work hand in hand to highlight this issue? How does the media directly affect political issues? And overall, is social media a good or bad influence? The first theory that I'm going to dive into is the two-step flow theory of communication. Katz and Lazarsfeld conducted a 1944 study that led them to develop this theory. The two-step flow theory asserts that a message from the media moves through 2 distinct stages. The message starts with a minority of individuals known as opinion leaders who pay close attention to the media. They then send this message to a wider audiences with their own interpretations of the media, therefore affecting and influencing the audience's beliefs and attitudes. According to Goxie, opinion leaders may be defined as those who bring in new information, ideas, and opinions, then disseminate them down to the masses and thus influence the opinion and decisions of others by a fashion of word of mouth. Ultimately, these leaders that are also known as the politically elite send their politically biased messages to the masses. The second theory I'll be covering is the agenda setting theory. It focuses on exactly what it sounds like, how the media sets an agenda for its audiences. It was founded in 1972 by Maxwell McCombs and Donald Shaw, and this theory says that the media takes major social and political issues and sets an agenda for audiences to feel a certain way and make decisions based on how the media presents this information. For example, when the coronavirus became a worldwide pandemic, everyone went into a mass panic and the media fed into this. This led to mask mandates, mandatory shutdowns, and falsified numbers. The third theory that I'll be talking about is the framing theory. It was founded in 1972 by Gregory Bateson, and it focuses on how the media presents, packages, and frames information for audiences. Leaders in the media pick stories, and they choose how they'll present them in a fashion that will affect how the audience thinks about them. The media is constantly framing information to make viewers feel a specific way about issues, particularly political ones. These frames influence viewers to sway left or right on a subject and political subjects, And this photo is an example of the framing effect. I know that we're not talking about yogurt, but it shows that the media just picks the best information to captivate an audience. So here they are promoting the 80% fat-free instead of the 20% fat, because fat-free sounds more positive, right? But however, this doesn't mean that the media always frames information in the most positive light, and they especially don't with politics. These three theories, although they're each different, they work hand in hand to highlight the issue of how fake news is spread and the impact that it has on social media users. Technology has evolved so eminently, and the role of social media becomes more prominent as each year passes. According to Fletcher and Nielsen, among the three most popular social networking sites, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube, there are approximately 2.3 billion active users, and that's only as of 2018. These networks now serve as news outlets, and they contribute to the high-choice media environment of the 21st century. Empirical research shows that there's a relationship between news consumption and political participation, but some of this news is filtered through algorithms to provide users with content that will most likely coincide with their political views. According to Parks, as of 2020, more people are more online right now than at any point in human history. And experts say that the internet has only gotten more flooded since 2016 with bad information. Social media use is at an all-time high right now, especially due to the coronavirus shutdown, and this can mean a nightmare for democracy. All in all, social media is a mass manipulator, and according to Balmo, as of 2018, every second approximately 6,000 tweets appear on Twitter and 50,000 new posts are created on Facebook. The majority of people rely on social networking sites to provide the information that they want and need, although it may be unobjective or include a biased point of view. According to Ella Haldane, there is a growing body of evidence of bias in the media caused by underlying political and socioeconomic viewpoints. This can cause issues for those, which is almost everyone now, who turn to social media for news during political elections. During and after the 2016 presidential election, a large amount of fake news was spread on Twitter. According to Bova and Makesy, an average of 1.1 million tweets per day during the 2016 presidential election concerned the two main candidates, Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump. This illustrates the overwhelming flow of influential content about political figures and the parties that they represent on just Twitter alone. With social media booming all year in 2020, what could this mean for the 2020 presidential election? Opinion leaders create problems in political settings, and they affect how the non-opinion leaders that they attract form opinions around politics. Opinion leaders are easily distinguished on these social networking sites because the posts that are most liked, shared, and recommended are written by them. Opinion leaders have a tight rein on users, and they're constantly pulling them back in for more with misleading information. According to Urlikaya, social media is manipulating the masses and determining political outcomes via fake accounts, populist actors, and extremists. According to Green, as of 2020, a Pew Research Center survey showed that most Americans feel that these tech companies hold the power to provide the true hard facts, but that they're not using their platforms in the right way for the 2020 election season. Ultimately, as a politically elite, an opinion leader's job is to bridge the divide between the politically unaware and aware, but Americans seem to be losing faith. This research revealed both expected and compelling facts. In The Social Dilemma, the former design ethicist for Google and the founder of the Center for Humane Technology, Tristan Harris, said, "There's a study, an MIT study, that fake news on Twitter spreads 6 times faster than true news." The 3 communication theories that I've covered support that messages from the media do in fact flow from leaders at the top, and that they're framed in a sense that sets an agenda for audiences. According to Yun, in 2018, people are more likely to search for news information that is congruent with their beliefs and label news information that doesn't align with their beliefs as biased. This evidence shows that people of different political parties undoubtedly hold their own intense beliefs, and they don't see eye to eye on all news coverage. But what does this say about each political party? This is a question that can be delved into deeper with further research. My biggest takeaway from this research is the significant impact of political news distributed through the two-step flow theory of communication and framed by the media with a set agenda. The presence of this problem essentially is a cause of all the radical division and political protests that take place today, and that will most likely worsen following the official announcement of the new President of the United States. Unfortunately and undoubtedly, this problem will continue and expand as time goes on, technology evolves even further, and the unbreakable bond between people and social media remains. And these are my references.